Keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly.
Semi drives a cart. Sadie pulls a log. Sadie learns to pull a cart. Miniature zebu heifer Susie learns to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learns to pull a harrow. Counter Canter.
Go to Google, enter Counter Canter in the search box, and you'll have a multitude of PDF files and videos to watch and read. From everything that I've read, moving those haunches, moving those hips properly at the right moment is what you need to do when you ask for the Counter Canter. It's a balance issue. Now Katie is just working with Sadie briefly while I try to read kind of an outline of what we've tried and what we're going to continue to try, but at slow paces. We've discovered that there's no way we're going to get the Counter Canter going fast, so we have to go slow. I'm going to have Katie, if you can keep a small circle there so I don't have to move the camera, I'm going to read a few things about what we have found on Google on the internet. If you're going in the counterclockwise direction, why don't you go in the counterclockwise direction now so that we can kind of picture it. Bend the horse slightly to the right. Your right leg at the girth. Aid your hands in maintaining the bend toward the rail. You don't have to go to the rail for this demonstration. And your left leg in a behind the girth position about 4 inches farther back than the normal leg position. Starts and maintains the sequence of footfalls. The left leg presses the horse's haunches toward the railing at the start of each stride, so the horse will not be able to move its right hind leg underneath itself far enough to change the sequence of its feet to the opposite lead. If you move both your hands slightly toward the rail as you approach the ends of the arena, the left rein will act as a neck rein to reinforce the pressure of your left leg and hold the horse on the Counter Canter. Now we've tried that, not with the camera on, but I can tell you now that the camera's on that we were totally unsuccessful. And we did it with 2 different horses, Sadie and Semi, and both of them were just going too fast. They didn't pay any attention to what we were asking for. Now, another Google PDF says this: the exercises in Counter Canter will take time, patience, and practice to perfect. Do not hurry and do not punish your horse for any misunderstanding of your explanations. Remain calm. Then there is a detailed description, almost a page-long single space, of what to do once you have gained softness and flexion from your horse. Ask the horse to give its natural wishes, to give up its own natural wishes, is what you're really doing when you ask for the Counter Canter. But it's a good tool for slowing, for example, the canter down. It's something that's asked for in the dressage arena as well. Return to the walk if you're not getting the answers that you want. Walk for a few minutes until your horse is completely calm, and then repeat the exercise. Today we're not going to try the exercise. We're just going to show you, when we video again, we'll actually go through the detail of the exercise in this particular PDF. But for now, we're just showing you very briefly, and it is a brisk day, we'd rather do this on a warm day, how Katie, with her spurs, with her legs, in the proper position, with a very soft hand, showing that we want flexion, is going to get Sadie to disengage that hind end. Or, if not disengage, at least move it in the direction we want it to go. That is, to the right if you want a right hand counter canter, or to the left if you want a left hand counter canter. In other words, the horse has to understand your cues, and to do so, to execute your request, the hips should be in the direction of the canter request. And in this case, we're asking for the Counter Canter. So now you're going in counterclockwise. Try to get that hip over a little bit more. You're not on a rail, and you don't have to be on a rail. There are videos that show the Counter Canter done at slow paces with no rail at all. But what you do want to do is start thinking as a rider, as you go around and counterclockwise, that you're going to want a left lead for a Counter Canter. So you're going to want to get those hips over to the left, and you know what? I think you're going to want to get the arc to the, let's see, you're going to want to get, this is something that I have to keep thinking about to make it logical, because it's, you have to be timely in your request. If you want a left hand counter canter, you're going to, I believe, yes, you're going to try to get that eyeball kind of looking to what would be the rail if you were on a rail. So you want that arc to the left, and you want the hip to the left. Now, if I'm wrong in what I'm remembering from all that I've read, I'll correct myself at the next video. Does it sound right to you?
Yeah, that's what the description says.
Okay, so Katie said yes, she thinks that that's the logical approach, and that that's what the description says. So right now she's going counterclockwise, so the normal canter lead would be left, but you want the right lead. So you're going to want the arc to the right. You want to see the outside of her right eyeball, and you're going to want that hip to the right. And then you're going to ask for the canter. And there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be able to pick it up with practice from a walk, and not from a trot, and not from a fast canter. We'll work up to speed once we get it down, when we're doing it slowly. So she's thinking that you're asking for a trot. Okay. We like to show you all the problems that we have. Even when we knew the plan, we still almost always have problems. So she's picking up the trot. And you know what? We're not going to even ask for a canter now, but we do like to use the kiss, a very clear kiss rather than a cluck. The cluck for us here at Minmore Farms pretty much means we want you to speed up into a trot or speed up your trot. And then the very clear kiss, the very clear signals with your legs and your hands, which have to be soft hands, will help the horse to get into the balance that she needs in order to pick up this counter canter, which is almost unnatural to her. Now you're going in a clockwise direction and you're going to want the left lead, so you're going to want to push that hip over, that's right, behind the cinch, and yet you're going to want to bring your hand out, slightly out, not back, to get that arc to the left. Try to slide your hand down the rein just ever so, that's it. And Katie, if you put your hands on the other side of the rein and push out, you're less likely to pull back. Yeah, just not the usual position. Let's see. No, I would put, if I were in the saddle right now, I would put my hand up and then pull out, like that. I think you'd be less likely to accidentally pull back, because that's not what we want. We want out. And so you're seeing her left outside eyeball. You're using your spur and your calf and your heel behind the cinch. Yeah, and you're going to get the right posture. And then with the cue and with repetition, we'll get the correct counter canter. So here's a postscript. We decided to read in this second PDF file and try to understand and think about it overnight. This is what it says to do. The counter canter is primarily a straightening and suppling exercise. Before learning the flying changes, the horse needs to be confirmed in maintaining the canter lead being asked of him. The rider has the responsibility to be able to sit correctly and quietly and to fully understand the aids required and how to apply them. I like to start by cantering around the arena on the true lead and a fairly collected canter, and at the beginning of the long side making a long, shallow loop towards the center line and then back to the track before the corner to the short end. Katie, any comments?
It's making the horse do something they're not naturally used to doing, so it's hard to get them, like, Sadie really, she wants to know what I'm asking, but she doesn't understand it yet, so.
And you made a comment after I turned off the camera the first time that going in the circle, she was good at flexing and moving her haunches over up to a certain point, and then she kind of lost it.
Yeah, it's keeping her head slightly left and turning the other direction that's throwing her off.
Okay. All right, and you know dressage people do those kind of things all the time, so I highly respect dressage riders. Yeah. Okay, all right, we'll continue to try to master the counter canter and show you how we do it. A session today with Shadrach Triton Semi on counter canter. We want to learn how to do counter canter with Semis in order to help her slow down her canter if we ask for a slow canter. Now here are the instructions that we're using today. It is important to understand that to gain the full benefit of the suppling exercises in counter canter, the horse must remain flexed to the leading leg, but must allow his body to conform to the track of the movement. Flexion means a relaxation of the horse's jaw to the action of the rein and a tendency in that direction. It does not mean a bend of the horse's neck in the direction of the rein aid. This distinction is important. Your horse should ultimately be able to bend around your inside leg while maintaining the counter canter and a flexion of the jaw to the opposite direction, that of the canter lead. This is demanding a very great deal and will only be achieved with much time, patience, and hard work. Like everything else in the training of the horse, it cannot be achieved by force. The horse, when ready, will give it to you freely. So today, we're going to begin to ask Semi to give us, let's review now, Katie. As I say it, try it. And then we'll interview you to see how it feels up there when you do ask for it. You're going to be asking Semi to be flexed to the leading leg. So right now you're going clockwise. The leading leg that you want actually for the counter canter is going to be the outside leg, right? The left leg. So you're going to slightly flex her, but that does not mean you're going to bend the neck. What you're going to do is look for the outside of the outside eyeball, and then if you see that, you know that you have slight flexion to the outside, and you're going to give her a little bit of leg pressure on that side so that Semi bends around your leg. Oh, excuse me, so that Semi bends around your inside leg while maintaining the counter canter. So actually it's the right leg that you're going to do slight pressure, but keep that outside of the outside eyeball in your sight, which means you therefore then have the proper flexion without arcing the neck. Let's do that a couple times in both directions. For now, one small step at a time. As you come by here, why don't you come close to the camera and tell us what you're feeling up there? She looks relaxed. She looks properly flexed, but tell us how it feels from the rider's point of view.
She feels a lot better than Sadie. I can see her inner eyeball for pretty much the entire circle, and she's moving her hind end around.
Okay.
She's doing a lot better.
Great. Go the other direction now. Let's see what happens, and then come and let us know. You're now going counterclockwise, just to review. So you're giving her a little bit of pressure on your inside leg, but I think you need to bend that head to the outside, not the neck, just the head, so you see the outside of the outside eyeball. Looks like she's speeding up. She's confused. Yeah, and she's not quiet in her mouth. So, you know, it's always harder in one direction than the other, almost always, for every horse, whatever direction they're comfortable with versus the opposite direction, which is always a little bit harder. So apparently, counterclockwise is going to be Semi's hard side. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good with your little finger, with your hand up or your hand down, just so long as you're not pulling back. That's what you have to be careful about. So a little bit of inside leg pressure. Requesting to keep that head, not the neck, flexed to the outside so that you can see the outside of the outside eyeball. And she's looking a little bit more relaxed now. So next time you come around, tell us what you noticed going in the counterclockwise direction with Shadrach, Triton, Semi.
She's not doing as well in this direction, but I mean, it's the first time we've tried it. She'll pick it up eventually, soon.
But she did, when I mentioned that she looked more relaxed, she did feel more relaxed, yes. Like she understood what you were asking. Yeah. Okay, my Morgan horses generally get tense if they don't understand what you're asking. So we just have to make sure we do it in small steps and keep asking and giving reward for ever so slight the right answer. The counter canter exercise with Semi at the jog. We're trying to get that flex in the head, keeping the inside leg against her body, going a little bit faster than I'd like.
Yeah.
So we need to sit on the saddle on our pockets. Oh, and you are posting, which is making her think that she's to speed up a little bit.
I think it's coming this way. She always speeds up because she sees that jump.
Aha. We've got a jump set up here in the arena that she's getting used to and learning not to resist. Okay, so we're going to practice this some more. Katie, can you stop here and tell us how you're feeling in the clockwise direction at the jog?
She's doing good. There are times where she wants to pick up a canter, but I feel like once she gets into the motion of keeping her whole body straight, it does slow her down a little bit, even in a trot, so it should definitely work at a canter.
Okay, let's go the other direction, and then we'll just keep practicing every day until we get the counter canter. And then we'll use the counter canter to slow down the pace. Now we're going counterclockwise. Again, she looks a little bit better. Was that the way she was better at the walk too?
Yeah, I think so.
We think so, but we'll check the video when we capture it. Yeah. Yeah, she seems much softer. Saddle slipping, even though we have a no-slip pad. But fortunately, we have a breast collar on, so that helps. Oh boy, it's still slipping. So, okay, we get the idea, and we'll quit for today, because that saddle needs to be reset. 80 is a review of what we did with Semi in our last session on Counter Canter. We're in the jog now with her. We're keeping inside leg pressure at the ribs, and a little bit of a rein request so that we see the outside of her outside eyeball. Now, combining that with one of the other descriptions of how to get the counter canter, I'm recommending to Katie that if she wants the counter canter lead, and right now she's going in counterclockwise direction, so the counter canter lead would be the right lead, that she makes sure that with her inside leg, she gets that hip over. So you may have to move it, I believe you need to move it over into the direction of the lead. So let's see if we have the proper maneuverability of the body parts here to set up Sadie for counter canter. And she will misunderstand. As you see, she just sped up. She just speeded up her trot. At some point, we will use the kiss to indicate we want canter. Now, and if she speeds up the trot, remember, one of those descriptions said, just come back down to a walk and calm her down. She just doesn't understand yet. So this is a difficult maneuver, but I'm confident we will get it if we are patient and persistent. So here's the review of what we've been trying to do in the proper timing. There's the outside eyeball, pressure at the ribs or behind the cinch on the right side going counterclockwise, walk and then kiss, cue for the canter, and if she picks up the traditional lead rather than the counter canter lead, or if she speeds up into a trot, just bring her back down to a walk and try again and again and again. And so that's what we're doing. So she sped up there, she speeded up, so back down to walk, trying to keep her from getting riled up. We don't want her to get frustrated because she really does want to please us. We know that. She just doesn't understand yet. And it's probably going to take at least a whole nother show of showing you, if we ever get it, how we got it. I'll turn the camera back on if we get it today, and if we don't. Hey, you did pick up canter, and it was kind of like a discombobulated lead. Maybe her balance was off enough so that she's getting close to being in the counter canter. I couldn't really tell if it was a right lead or a left lead. I think maybe she couldn't either. But see, that's what counter canter is all about. No, that's a left lead. It's changing the balance, moving the body parts, and communicating with your horse that you want your horse to do something other than what they naturally would do. And then why? Why do we want it? Just to review, because it's a good tool for slowing down the canter, and it's a good task to be able to explain to your horse what you want, softly and lightly. Okay, a quick interview of Katie.
I think she starts speeding up, and then I think she like freaks out and is like, I don't know how to do it. So she just doesn't go into the canter, but she knows it's what we're asking. She just can't. She hasn't figured out how to pick up the wrong lead yet.
So whenever Katie would put any kind of pressure on the sides of Sadie's body, she'd just pick up speed. She doesn't quite understand that that pressure doesn't necessarily mean to go faster, which doesn't surprise me. So we actually tried it without any pressure at all, just making sure we have the proper arc, see the outside of the outside eyeball, and kind of bring that rein forward. What happened when you tried that?
That seemed to get a better response. That's when she started just kind of doing a half trot, a half canter.
Uh-huh.
And I think the pressure that you need to get the hips over is too confusing for them, and they just want to pick up a trot or a canter instead.
Now, just to finish off this session, we're gonna fire up the cable cutting machine and make sure Sadie remembers how to work over her haunches for simulated cow work.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty, and Susie. Heifer calf Sela. For more information, www.cowgirlchannel.com.